Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live Healthy Naturally. I'm your host, Dr. Samya Sridharan, and we are available on Spotify, Google, as well as Apple Podcasts. I wanted to thank you for listening to each and every one of our episodes. I appreciate you spending this time with me, and I hope that you've learned quite a bit, and I hope that you know that you have hope no matter what's going on with your health or in your family. So, we are actually about 2 years into making the podcast, and this is going to be my last podcast for now. I'm going to be shelving this podcast for a little while because there are certain kinds of personal things that have come up that I need to tend to. But all these 2 years have been such a beautiful journey for me because I learned so much from each and every single one of the participants, as well as from the feedback of my listeners and from the patients that I've actually treated. It is such a beautiful opportunity for me, this podcast, to share with each of you the stories of healing. So you do know now that no matter what the condition is, if they can do it, you can do it. And that is a lot to say because in this world right now, there is a lot of doctors even who tell us that no, this is not curable. This is not something that you can heal from. This is something that you have to deal with for the rest of your life. And it could not be farther from the truth. And I hope you know that from the stories I've shared before. But today, I wanted to share some of the stories of my own life from different conditions that we have healed. So, just like you, just like every one of the people in this world, we too have had our share of illnesses and diseases and how we have taken care of things. That's what I wanted to share with you because then you do know that if I can do it, you can do it. And then I also have provided you the resources to do the same things that I have been able to do. So never ever listen to any of the naysayers. Your body is extremely powerful. It wants to heal every single day. And nature is extremely powerful. This world has been filled with beautiful resources, healing resources for us. And we just need to learn how to use them and use them appropriately in order for us to enjoy health. It's your birthright to be happy and healthy. And I have taken this as an opportunity to take steps to give those resources to you. One of the resources you have, as I'm going to be sharing the stories of healing, is you getting all the protocols for treating acute illnesses naturally through our website. Our website is hygiawellnessclinic.com. And if you go to the free resources there, you would see that we have all of the different protocols listed for many different acute conditions. And you can use the same resources because that's what I have used in many of these acute conditions to help myself as well as my family. And I provided that for you so you too can emulate and get the same results and know the power of your own body and the power of nature. And we also have created retreats for you. Every few months, we have one or the other retreat. We have actually conducted silent retreats and goddess retreats, and we are excited to be bringing you much more. And that is for your spiritual healing as well. Every step we take is going to be a step closer to your health. But at the same time, every step we take is one step closer. And as long as we keep taking those steps, we are going to reach there. For some people, it may be closer depending on where you start. And for some people, it may be farther. But every step, no matter where it is, whether it is on the level of physical body or it is on the level of the emotional body or the spiritual body, every single step makes a difference. So use all of the resources that's provided for you because you're worth it. It's your birthright to be healthy. You deserve to be healthy. And it is up to you now to take those steps. The way I came into natural medicine is not only because my father is a doctor, but that was my normal. I never thought anything about it. I didn't think of it as such an amazing thing because I didn't know any better. That's all I knew. A lot of times when we look from outside, it may seem like, wow, that person has this amazing father or mother, has these resources and teachers and all that. But when you're inside, you don't really know any different, and you think that's normal for everybody too. And that's how I was too. So I really never had any inclination to become a doctor as a very young girl. But my father became a doctor because he saw his father heal from psoriasis through natural medicine, which was keeping on coming back with conventional medicine. So that's how he became a natural doctor. And then this one particular time that changed my life. And that was my cousin, who was only 18 months old, who was stricken with cholera. Cholera is something that used to be rampant in India. Not as much when I was growing up, but it did hit her. And she was so affected, it was so intense, her symptoms, that she wasn't even responding to treatment. And the doctors pretty much gave up on her because even when they were giving her treatment and IV, she was not keeping anything in. And so I remember in the middle of the night, my uncle and aunt banging on my front door. And as soon as we opened, they were wailing and crying, holding this lifeless baby who was blue. And the smell was so putrid that was coming from the blanket that was wrapped around this baby. And she was such a sweetheart. I loved her. I used to play with her since I was in middle school. She was so little. I used to play with her all the time and carry her around. And it was such a shock for me to see her that way. She didn't even make a peep. She could not make a sound. Her arms were limp. And it was the most scary thing for me as a young girl. And my dad ushered them in and started giving them some natural remedies. And then also my mom started her on oral rehydration therapy. And I couldn't go back to sleep with all of that. With so many things that have happened, I was just so much in shock. I just wanted to be with the baby. And I was actually afraid that we might lose her that night. But it so happened, obviously, because I'm here to tell you the story. It was so beautiful to watch how beautifully these natural remedies worked and effectively, that she stopped throwing up and having diarrhea. And then not only just that, the color started returning to her face. And she started making sounds by the morning. And she woke up. She sat down. She was hungry. She wanted to eat. And it was the most miraculous, beautiful thing that I could see. And for a young girl at that time, in my mind, it impressed upon me that this is what I wanted to do with my life. And of course, everything else is history. But it's been a beautiful history because I have had the opportunity to educate and empower so many people so they can heal themselves. When I was a young girl, I wanted to save the world. But as I've gotten older and wiser, I've learned that I cannot save anybody, but I can help them save themselves. And it is beautiful for me to be able to do that. And I thank that cousin of mine and the life opportunities that present themselves for us to change our lives. And for me, that was a turning point. That was a life altering moment. And I've had, as a young adult or even as a teenager in college, I've had serious cystic acne, I've had anemia, I'd gained a lot of weight, and all of these things we treated with homeopathy and herbs. And when I was right before my wedding, I met with a big accident and I had a huge scar and a concussion. And I thought it was on my face too, the scar. I really thought that, I'm going to look like I got into a bar fight, on my wedding day. And thankfully, with the help of homeopathy and with all kinds of natural remedies and supplements, I was able to heal it completely that nobody could even tell that I ever had an accident. I mean, it's just story after story after story. And so many people think that this is somehow unique to us and it's not possible for other people. And it could not be farther from the truth. It is only that I've been fortunate enough to be the recipient of so many different teachers that have taught me how to do these things. But here I am teaching you these things. So you don't have to go look farther. And you can do this too. And In high school, I had chickenpox and hepatitis A together. And chickenpox, when it comes later, usually can be a little bit more intense. And I was bedridden for a whole month. But the whole treatment was completely natural, and I bounced back completely fit and healthy. And then, through the years, of course, we have had many infections and so on and so forth. And I've never had to take a single antibiotic or a painkiller all my life, or even after a C section. The C section, unfortunately, was something that I had no control over because I just had a OBGYN that was incompetent. But after the C section, I had vouched that I'm going to take things into my own hands, and I did. And I didn't have to take a painkiller or an antibiotic, and I healed beautifully. And my children are 13 and 16 almost, and I've never had to give them a single medication either. They have been completely treated naturally for all these years. And that is because their body has the ability to heal, and your body has the ability to heal. How do you know that? If you cut your finger chopping a vegetable and it heals, it means that that ability is not gone anywhere. It is intact and it's always available to you. And if you have diabetes and somebody told you that your ability for wound healing is poor, even that can be healed. So don't think that you ever lose the ability to heal until you die. Because of that ability to heal and the plethora of beautiful, wonderful, natural herbs that are there, we can heal from anything. My children have had their share of ear infections, strep throat, RSV, croup, even COVID. And I've been able to treat every single one of them naturally and never having to go to a hospital or an urgent care for any of these things. And even my older daughter was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. Rather, I diagnosed her with hypothyroidism at one point in time, and I reversed it within a few months that she doesn't have any condition anymore. And these are all things that people will not even be able to believe it, but it is the truth. Because so many people take drugs for hypothyroidism for the rest of their life. And here we are within a few months healed. We have healed cavities in their teeth and so many other things because it's the way of life for me that I never even think anything different, that we don't even note all these things down. And my parents, who are actually now 77 and 70 years old, they've had their fair share of conditions as well. Diabetes, hypertension, interstitial lung disease, COVID, psoriasis, all of these things we have healed and reversed through natural remedies. And my dad was given only a few months or up to a year to live with this interstitial lung disease. And what he had was heavy metal poisoning. And once I diagnosed that and I was able to work on it and get rid of it, it's been several years and he's still alive and kicking. My grandma is 90 years old and is not on any medication and is completely healthy. My grandpa, who passed away at the age of 91, was not on any medication and was completely healthy. Why am I sharing all these things with you? Because I want you to know, as my last episode, I am so grateful for all of these stories, all of these sharings that I get to do with you. But I want you to take this to your heart, that no matter what you have, no matter who told you it's not possible, it is possible. It is only a perspective of a doctor. It is not the truth. It is not the reality. And I hope you have heard that piece of truth in all the different stories that so many people have shared. They only shared their stories with you so that you can understand that you have hope too. And that is the crux of this sharing. And that is the whole idea of this podcast, is to share healing stories so you too know that you can heal completely no matter what you've been diagnosed with, whether it's an autoimmune condition, whether it is cancer, whether it is recurrent infections, whether it is excessive weight, no matter what it is that you carry, know that you too can heal. And I want to send you so much of love from my heart to yours. I want to send you so much of health, healing, and happiness from my heart to yours because you deserve it. And if you are anywhere within the United States, we can help you get healthy. We do telemedicine. And if you cannot do this by yourself, contact a practitioner to be able to do this. And if you are anywhere, any other part of the world, then I'm 100% sure there are healers around you. Set your intention to find that person, and that person will hold your hand. That person will educate you. That person will empower you so that you too can be on the journey to your health, healing, and happiness. Much, much, much love to you. I thank you, thank my patients, thank my teachers, thank my family for this opportunity to serve you in one another way. And this is only a short break. I'll be coming back with more soon to you. Until then, adios. And I appreciate you spending the time listening to everything that I've shared. Be well until I talk to you next time.
I know you have things to do and places to be, and you chose to listen to me. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I'm Dr. Samya Sridharan, and it is an absolute honor to be heard by you. I hope you enjoyed and learned something from this episode. Show us some love and share with your friends and family. Much love and health. Until then.